going to do right now is have the alums introduce themselves, to say the school that they're at, their majors, the AP courses they took. We're going to switch the format up a little bit, and if it works, we'll go with it. Otherwise, they have amazing, great things to say. But we also want to know what your questions are. So if you have questions either that are specific to schools, that are specific to majors, or maybe about their AP experience, can you kind of think about that as you're listening to their introductions and be willing to ask those questions? And then we also can move pretty easily into lots of advice they have to share. So I'm going to start with you, Deja.
Hi everyone, my name is Deja. I'm going to enter my junior year at Illinois State University. I'm a public relations psychology double major and I have a minor in Spanish. I graduated back in 2014. I took AP Gov, AP Euro, AP Lit, AP Bio, and AP Psych. That's what I was.
Hi, I'm Liz. I go to Loyola. I graduated from Richards in 2015. I'm doing a dual degree program at Loyola, so 3 years for a bachelor in physics, and then 2 years at one of their affiliated schools, which include Columbia University, New York, Notre Dame, WashU, Champaign-Urbana, to get a master's in engineering. I took 7 AP courses my senior year, 3 in my junior year, and 1 my sophomore year.
I'm Kim. I just graduated like 2 weeks ago. I'm going to Paul next year for public health under their honors program. And I took, I think, like 8 AP classes. It was AP Euro, AP Psych, AP Lang, APUSH. Did I say that right? I don't know. But AP Lit, AP Gov. I'm blanking, I don't know. But there were like 2 more. And yeah, that's it.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe. I'm also going into my junior year at ISU as a PR major. I'm also minoring in Latin American and Latino studies as well as women and gender studies. The AP classes I took, junior year I took AP Bio and AP Lang, and then senior year I took AP Lit.
Hi, I'm Agatha. I graduated from Richards in 2015. I'm going to be starting my sophomore year at the U of I, studying psychology, social work, and a minor in Spanish. While I was at Richards, I basically took all the AP courses they had to offer.
Except for AP Physics.
Except for AP Physics and art, I guess.
Hi, I'm Efkia. I go to North Central College. I am a French and double major in anthropology, and I have a minor in English and studio art. And I took AP Art, APUSH, AP Euro, AP Lit, AP Lang, AP Gov. I think that's it. Yeah.
When did you graduate from Richards?
2015. Thanks.
It just kills me to do this whole program.
I'm Amanda. I'm going to my junior year at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. I'm pursuing my BFA, and there technically are no majors, but I primarily work in sculpture, video, and performance. I graduated in 2014, and I took AP Language, AP Lit, and AP Art.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm graduated from Richards in 2014. I'm transferring from Rain Valley Community College to DePaul this fall, and I'll be studying public relations and advertising, taking main classes in that. I recently studied abroad in England. The AP class through Rain, and the AP classes I took were AP French, I'm trying to do it right here, AP Language, AP French, AP Bio, and AP Economics.
And AP Lit.
And AP Lit. How could I forget that? Yes.
So at this time, we'd like to open it up to questions that you may have. And we'll just have like 20 seconds of awkward silence while you think of questions until somebody raises their hand. Hi.
I have a question for you. I'm sorry, what's your name? Liz? Liz. Okay, how did you take 7 AP classes?
She did ski lunch.
6 of them were full semesters, both first and second, and then 2 of them were, one was first and then one was second. So the way it was like AP Gov was second semester, or first semester, and AP Econ was second semester.
And how was that experience, taking every single AP class senior?
It definitely prepared me a lot more for college because that was, I guess, more of a realistic amount of work that you would be getting. Although you're not spread as thin among different subjects, but you get a experience with a little bit of everything, which is great to have. And you also get a lot of credit, which going into my first year, I had a little over a semester and a half of college done, so that took care of a lot of my like gen eds, and that's something to think about. That was like one of my main reasons for taking APs was to get college credit, so I definitely recommend it.
How did that benefit you at Loyola in terms of your major and being able to have a little bit of flexibility also in the number of courses you took?
Yeah, so that definitely had a great impact on my first year. Since I am a physics major, my primary, I can't speak right now. My main concerns are with my math and science courses because that's what I want to go into. So Loyola is a liberal arts college, so you have to take just a bunch of general courses. You have to take philosophy, theology, literature, political science, just everything under the sun they want you to learn a little bit about. So going in, I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to complete the program in the amount of time that I wanted to. But since I had, enough AP credit, I wouldn't be bombarded with taking 18 to 20 credits a semester. I'm taking 15, 16, which is not bad. And just being able to have a solid foundation of writing and reading skills for my gen ed classes is great because I'm able to force myself to sit down and write a 4 to 5 page paper in a day instead of, spreading it out on a week because I have those skills. So I didn't have to worry as much about, I'm not going to be able to get this reading and this paper done for my philosophy class because I have a test in physics tomorrow that I really want to focus on tonight. But I was able to get those things done right away in a short period of time versus some of my friends who didn't really take AP in high school who were struggling with, just even getting through the reading.
Even if you decide to maybe just take one AP class, or do just one your junior year, one your senior year, or even just one your senior year, whatever you guys decide to do, it just is really good, slow transition to be just have a little bit of a taste, which I think is really important.
And definitely, if you do take AP, keep your binders and keep yourself organized because it will help. I mean, I took a literature course my first semester, and a lot of the readings were readings that we did in Lit and Lang. So I was able to pull out my binders when I got home and just reference the notes I took on those, and it helps a lot just to take good notes, I guess, and keep them.
I would say also keep your anthologies if you're going to go into stuff because if you're going to go into more English-based stuff, you're going to have to buy more anthologies and read a lot of these really difficult texts, and it keeps you it wets your feet pretty well.
Other questions? Yes.
My question's for Agatha. How is it studying psychology?
So what I said to one of the previous sessions is I thought all of high school that I was going to be a teacher, and so my senior year I took psychology and I was just really interested in it. So I went into my freshman year, I started taking 200 level classes because I had a bunch of credit. So 200 level classes are technically meant for sophomores. And I took child psychology, I took cognitive psychology, and I had to retake an introductory psychology course. And I don't know, there's a big psychology department at the U of I. They're ranked 7th in the nation. There's a lot of research that goes on. The professors, they're famous for the work they've done. And so yeah, if you're interested in it, I know I am. I'm concentrating in developmental psychology, so it's pretty cool.
And did you pick psychology because of an experience in high school, like AP Psych or psychology class, or you just?
I mean, that's kind of what got me started. Like, I really didn't know what psychology was before then, because why would I? And, so I took it my senior year, and yeah, I just thought it was really cool. A lot of the readings, like, it was reading that I enjoyed doing, because I know we read textbooks and stuff, but I was actually interested in what was in the books, and so it wasn't like a chore to me, the class. It was actually like interesting.
And you said, Agatha, that you're, as a job, when you get finished, you're probably gonna pair this with social work, or?
Yeah, so I technically went into my freshman year undeclared, kind of knowing that I wanted to do psychology, but once you apply to a certain school, you're required to stay in that school for a year, so I was in the Division of General Studies, they call it. I'm going to be transferring into the psych school this fall, and then I'm hoping to pair it with a dual degree in social work, which basically means that I'm going to graduate with both a degree in psychology and a degree in social work, and I can do that because of AP classes. I went into my freshman year with 20 credits, which is like a semester and a half almost of classes, and I finished off my freshman year with 52 credits, which could technically put me at like junior year standing right now. And so to do a dual degree, you need 150 credits, and most people will need 5 years to do that, but I can do that in 4. So,
Other questions? Yes.
I have a question for Deja. Being a double major in PR and in psychology, do you find it hectic to deal with both of them? Like, how do you schedule your college?
Yeah, so it's definitely a challenge, like you said, trying to schedule everything, not necessarily because there's so much to do, it's just that they're all at different times. So again, another big thing that AP, taught me, you might have an AP time project due in the same week as your AP Euro paper. You gotta make it work. So that's one of the big things that definitely helped me manage time. In terms of content, I came in my freshman year as a declared public relations major with a minor in Spanish, and psychology is a thing I recently added, actually at the beginning of spring semester, as a way to kind of tailor and concentrate public relations. I was interested in it because I took AP Psych my junior year. So, PR is all about people. And what better way to understand that than by studying psychology? So that's kind of why I added it. So I'm not as far in psychology right now as I am in PR. So ask me that question in a semester and I'll probably give you a different answer. But yeah, it's definitely, regardless of whether you're taking 7 AP classes or 2, like I've been saying to the other groups, you get out of it what you put in. So, you put in 100%, it's going to pay off, when you get to university and you have, all these things going on at once.
sorry, I wanted to answer the psychology thing. I was talking with Mr. Wydra right before this, and the thing about psychology too is it's such a broad sort of area of study, and it can be applied to anything. So people that study psychology can go into med school, or they can go into business, or you could really go into anything, because knowing about people is always going to be useful, since we are all people. It's always going to be a useful thing to know. So, like I said, I'm focusing more on social work now, but I'm not dropping the psychology just because I know it can be applied to really anything that I decide to do.
Totally true. You say your concentration was
Development.
development, so I'm behavior, cognitive behavior, what motivates people to do, the things they do. So it's super broad.
But helpful with PR, I'm sure.
Definitely. So it's a lot. I feel like that's with any, I can only speak for the more liberal arts majors, but it's, don't let that overwhelm you when you get there, if you don't know what to do right away. But use all the resources, and I think another reason why AP is very helpful, use all the resources that you have available to you. Your teachers want to help you. I know it doesn't seem like it, like I said, but you have 5 papers due in a week and you've got 2 nights to do them, but they are people, and treat them as such, use them, like I said, as resources outside of academics. Ask them, if you have questions about college and you want a perspective on that, go up to them after class, like, hey, it's not necessarily related to anything we're learning right now, but I have a question for you about, so I learned in that role helped me so much in my classes and the things that I do on campus. It was really good fun, so I'm doing it again in the fall for a different class. So definitely use your professors as a resource for your teachers and take advantage of those kind of opportunities.
And I would just reinforce it, and one second, that you want to do that in high school as well. I always say to my students, you want at least one of your teachers to like you well enough that they're willing to write you a letter of recommendation. And I've written dozens and dozens and dozens of letters of recommendation, not just for college admissions, but also for college scholarships. And the selective schools that you are all interested in want to see you as a person. They want to know you as a person. And so you just kind of remaining silent, remaining within yourself in a classroom isn't going to make you stand out. And the time to, I love high school because it's the time to practice those kinds of skills, which obviously these young women have taken advantage of and have been quite successful at. Effie and then Chloe.
So, two quick things. Going back to like the double major, handling double majors, AP definitely helped me to handle my double majors because I came in with enough credits that I could do the double major, and I'm finishing my anthropology degree in March of next year, and then I have like a free year to do research and a bunch of French stuff. So like, it helps you tailor your education towards yourself and what you really want to get out of it. I mean, you have to get your core classes out of it and things like that. Another thing is I stress discussion. You probably have had your Socratic seminars, or you will have them. Discussion in classrooms is really important, especially in the college environment, and it's something that you definitely want to develop here. So if you have an idea, if you really like a book that you're talking about, talk about it. Like, make yourself talk about it, because first of all, you're going to feel so enlightened, you're going to feel a lot more fulfilled, and it helps you practice towards the types of discussions you're going to have in your college experience.
I did a discussion presentation. I needed to call you a couple days ago.
Kind of just to touch on that too, what Nathan and Effie both said. I think the biggest thing that I got from AP, and mind you, I only took 3 AP classes my entire high school career, but I put my all into all of those classes, including the ones that weren't AP. And I think the biggest thing I gained, and I think Richard's too, that was a really good thing, the environment. I got a lot of confidence out of it that I could do this, that this was something that I could do. Because when you're sitting here and you're thinking about AP, it's like, oh my God, there's that AP test, there's this, there's all these assignments, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I feel like going through that, and especially with the peers around me who wanted to do that too, it gave me the confidence to do that. And I think that's made a huge difference in my college career. Because like I said in the other session, coming into freshman year, I didn't have a minor declared yet. And you don't even have to have a minor, that's just something a lot of people do. I didn't have a minor declared, and I was in a class that I really enjoyed. It was about a Latino studies class. It was an introductory course, and I really liked it. I was really into it and whatnot. And I went to my professor's office hours, which is just a time during the day where she has her office open to students to talk to. And I feel like I was able to go, because I went by myself, in the middle of the day, after one class, whatnot, and I was able to go in there with confidence because I had had that experience talking to teachers and, having those kind of conversations and whatnot because of the teachers I had at Richards. So I went into there, I talked to her about it and whatnot, and by the end of the semester, she had asked me to be a teaching assistant the following semester, my freshman year. And I don't think that opportunity would have came about if I didn't take that first step, and I wouldn't have been able to take that first step without AP. So definitely, no matter how many AP classes you take or whatnot, it doesn't matter, honestly, just put your all into what you're doing and gain that kind of confidence.
All right, let's go down the road. Liz, Abby, and then I think Emily.
I just want to say that AP in general, no matter how many you take, or you can take 7, you can gain through AP, is going to benefit you. Our great teachers here at Richards, they would honestly, they'd come in early for you to get help. They would post review sessions after school, and if you were motivated enough to go to those, and it was very helpful. And I think the same thing definitely applies to college. You're used to waking up early to go to school at 7 o'clock to make that one review session. So once you start college and you have like that 8 a.m. lecture, you're like, okay, I'm used to this.
I can show up.
I can make it here. Just being able to approach your peers and approach your teachers, I definitely would recommend AP even if you're nervous about it or you don't think you can do it, you can. And even if you're struggling, it's going to make you a better student. It's going to make you want to learn more. Just in general, it's just going to help you.
Yeah, the thing about AP is it really prepares you to kind of just do things for yourself, because it's so easy to go to college and just not do anything if you don't want to. I've seen kids that just don't show up to lecture, they go to lecture, spend the whole time on Facebook or texting people, not paying attention. And so the thing AP mostly taught me is to want to do things to succeed. So most college classes, you don't have homework that's graded. You are told to do notes, but if you don't do them, no one's going to penalize you for it. You need to do those notes for yourself to succeed. And so that's kind of my biggest takeaway from AP is, like, I'm self-motivated now. I know how to manage my time and just get things done. Because people have said this before, no professor is going to look out for you and say, oh, you're missing this, or make sure you study for this. You have to do it on your own. You have to make sure you have all your things in order, be organized, and make sure you get everything done on time.
Yeah, back to what Effie was saying about class discussion, it's super important to learn from people around you. Like, even you have class discussions in like non-AP classes, like for like history class, like seminar stuff like that. Like, it's important to be aware that there's going to be other people that are going to have like not the same views as you on things, and to be respectful of their ideas and like values and stuff, and just learn from that. And I think that's an important value on life, is that you're going to be working with people and living in the world with people that aren't going to agree with you on everything, and take in from that and like, yeah, like be a good person and like not, do that. And like for like AP Lit wise, like we would have a ton of class discussions on like literature and like what we thought about it. And it's really all up to your imagination of what you want to think. Yes, you have to have some credible source to back up your ideas, but like don't be afraid to be like proud of your idea, although maybe you think someone's not going to like it, and like really listen to what other people have to say, because I've learned a lot from like my classmates being like, oh, I didn't see that while we read that, or like, thanks, like I could use that in like our long-term like paper or whatever you're doing. So it's really important to listen not only to your teachers but to like the kids in the class. Like, you guys are all in the same boat, but everyone thinks differently and has a different mind, so it's important to learn from each other. So yeah, that's a good thing about class discussions and stuff.
And then aside from like the skills and everything from AP classes, I think like the actual subject matter is a really good benefit of it too, because a lot of the subjects of AP classes aren't always offered as like regular honors classes. So I think they had like a really big impact on how I chose like my major and my minor for college, because I decided to minor in psychology and then like concentrate in epidemiology for part of my major. And I don't think psychology I took AP Psych my junior year, and I was really interested in it. But I didn't know if I wanted to major in it or not, so I decided to take that as a minor. And then epidemiology, I took AP Stats this last year, and then I decided that like I really like statistics, but like not enough to like major in it. But it was like it connected like science that I wanted to major in and another thing I'm interested in, so that really helped me. And I don't know if I would have like figured out what I wanted to do if it weren't for the subjects I wanted in AP classes. So even if you're like vaguely interested in it, and like I went to AP Stats, I really didn't think I could handle it. I went from like a regular math class to AP, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, I can't do it. But then like it turned out really well. It was like one of my favorite classes, and so even if you like don't think you can do it, you definitely can.
Did you want to say something, Deja?
Yeah, piggybacking off of what Emily was saying. When you first of all go on a bunch of college visits. I went on a lot. I don't even know how many, but I went on a lot. But yeah, when you're visiting these campuses, I know a bunch of us thought we were gonna go somewhere, and we ended up in a very different place. When you go, don't pick, U of I because that's engineering, that's what I know I want to do, so I have to go to U of I. If you visit the campus and you don't feel it, don't go. Because one of the most valuable things that AP taught me just in life in general was you have to be very, very open, and on any campus, that you go to different types of people. We talk about this all the time. That's one of the bigger things that no one explicitly said, in high school, but that, you guys taught. You have to be very, very open to different kinds of people. Not everybody's gonna fit, especially when you get to college. You're sitting in an AP class, chances are you're around like-minded people. Most of you guys are friends or gonna be friends because you've been right before, so my interaction with the professor is very minimal, especially the type, depending on what types of classes you take. If you're in a philosophy class, if you're in a theory class, and you're talking about, hot button issues, there's going to be a bunch of people in there who do not agree with you, and you have to be very open and willing to respect those differences, tastefully and not be offensive, where, while at the same time, expressing your ideas and how you feel about it. So outside of, coursework, be very mindful and open to what these types of courses, with the people in your classroom and who's teaching them, can teach you about life in general. This is not important, but don't be so focused on academics that you don't enjoy the experience, because you're going to need that just as much as you need the academic side.
Okay, one thing that I really appreciated about AP classes was my ability to learn how to synthesize a lot of information and support the claims I want to make. So a lot of times you're going to have to write these papers and you have to read like 3 or 4 different sources and figure out how to make your argument cohesive. And it really, like you would pass out those critiques, obviously literary critiques, and so you would read something and you have a literary critique, and now you're like, I see this and I'm using this critique to back it up. And you're going to have to use those types of skills a lot in college. Another thing is that it made me start seeing myself as like a very academic person and as a scholar. Like, I see myself as a scholar. So that's definitely something, like, don't see yourself as, oh, I'm just going to school. Like, this is a huge step towards your future. Start really visualizing yourself as moving towards that and seeing yourself as a status of, I'm a scholar, I want to continue being a scholar. Because it's so beneficial and your whole mind is going to completely open up.
Here's a question. Someone raise their hand.
All right, we'll come back to you.
Sorry.
Yeah, kind of another thing I wanted to say, like, as kind of dumb as it sounds, AP really teaches you how to, like, because it's one thing to know how to read and knowing how to read, like, with understanding and knowing how to read well. So a bunch of my psychology classes, it's really just reading textbooks, and you need to know how to pick out the things you really need to know and what to kind of ignore and pace yourself to actually, like, I've read textbooks cover to cover at this point. You just need to know how to do it well, and AP kind of prepares you with that because you take notes and teachers teach you how to take notes and annotate things well, and so that's a big part of it too.
What advice would you guys give people or a person that has all these like high level classes and wants to do well but just doesn't have the motivation to do it all?
I think half of it is motivation. Like, as much as it is going to take a lot of time and effort on your part, there's so much going on as like a young teenager, like anything in your life. Not that you don't have to. I don't know. It just takes a lot of time, and I think you should think about the long-term goal. I think a lot of people, it's good to have short-term goals, like within yourself, but it's also good to think about long-term goals. And I think something like succeeding in a class should make you think about like those long-term goals and how you'll achieve that.
And I would say it's not always about just check marks and making sure you're hitting all those points. It's like, what am I actually really invested in? And then, center your effort in the few classes that really do have value to you.
What I would say is if you're not feeling motivated, I don't know why, but usually when I'm unmotivated about something, it's because I feel like I have everything to do, and then I'm like, I would rather watch Netflix. So what I do instead, yes, I feel you. So what I do instead is I do a couple things. I write little notes to myself, like, don't overthink it. Here are 3 things you need to do today, and that's it. Then you can have ice cream, you can watch Peaky Blinders, whatever you want. So start doing that. Like, make your list. Like, your list is probably like this long. Make it like this long, because otherwise you're not going to do anything. So you really want to just like manage. Think like, not I want to be able to do everything, because of AP students, we're all perfectionists, and we want to do everything we can in one day and then never sleep. Don't do that to yourself. Say, what can I actually handle? Like, really, it's like, what can my brain handle today, like physically, mentally? And then just do that, and then congratulate yourself a lot because you did it, like a lot. You don't feel like a failure because I didn't finish the whole list. Just say, hey, I did those 3 things. I'm awesome. I'm gonna keep trudging into the next day.
Yeah, it's kind of just about like prioritization, and like I said, a big part of AP too is just learning time management. And so while you're doing things, like I've been there, I've taken so many AP classes. While you're taking them, it's like, what's the point? Like, am I actually getting anything out of this? Like, I can't even count the amount of times I've asked myself that, like, sitting in econ or calc, like, am I really gonna need this? And like, I mean,
as I'm through my first year of college, I realized like, okay, it was worth it in the end. Like it sucked at the moment, but like it's gonna pay off. Like I promise you that.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice would be kind of like what Effie said and Amanda said I really liked. Know what your value is. You know, I know, at least when I was there was a lot of pressure to take all the AP classes and to take them all at once. And I sat down and I really thought about it and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do anything with that. And I know I'm not gonna get what I want out of that because it's not something I'm truly invested in. So I chose my AP classes based on what I knew I was gonna give my all to and what I, wanted to do. And I think that's really important, not to kind of get brought in by that peer pressure and whatnot, to kind of do what you want to do. Because I mean, that's college. You make it what you want it to be, kind of thing. I know there's like a, gen eds and whatnot, but like really it is what you make it. So it's about, I feel like AP was my way of starting to learn how to do that. How do I, invest time in this and that and make it work? Time management, also a huge thing and whatnot. So I think that would be my biggest thing, would be the, look at what you want to do and like they were saying, the long-term goal. I feel like that, when I'd be sitting in a class and I'd be like, okay, maybe I'm not doing so hot in this class right now and maybe this is really hard and I have a lot going on at home and this and that, things be going through my head, but it's like, I know what I want in the end, and what I want in the end is this. And I have to do this to get here. So let's just push through. It's another day, start off, kind of that thing, so.
I know what helps me is like just focus on like smaller tasks first. Like if I have like a worksheet and I like a huge essay, I'll like do the worksheet first. Then you're like in the mindset of like being in that kind of like, I don't know, it's like studious kind of environment or whatever. So I'm like, you're kind of in the right mindset to take on the essay, and then it's not as hard and just like dive into it.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna say, as motivation, money is like a huge thing. Okay, so an AP class is gonna cost you $50, and like comparing that, I'm taking a class at Moraine Valley for the summer, and it's costing me $600. So that's one class compared to the 7 classes I took senior year, which cost me less than this one class is taking now, or costing me now. So I don't know, like if you can't motivate yourself with like all the academic stuff, like money is a big part of it too, especially with like all this state budget crisis going on. Like I don't even know if I'm gonna have aid for next year, so to have all this stuff out of the way now, like it's gonna help me a lot too.
I would say don't get discouraged. Remember, you are a person. That's a big thing. If you're taking on a lot, you're one person. Just know what you can handle. If you're not doing well, don't get discouraged and give up. Just take a step back, take a deep breath, and tell yourself you can do it. You need to have the motivation yourself. You may not be the best at physics, you may not be the best at chemistry, but if you really want to learn the material and that's something that you're interested in, I'd say go for it. That's something that the decisions you make now will impact your future. So you might go into college not knowing what you want to do, and you might be thinking, well, I'm not good at this subject, but I'm really interested in it. But it'd be so much easier for me just to get a business degree or something that's like not a science, or it might be easier for me to get a biology degree even though I'm interested in law. Don't get discouraged. If that's what you want to do, then work for it. You can only handle so much, but if you push yourself, you will be able to accomplish a lot.
Another thing I want to say is just like focus on yourself and don't compare yourself too much to other people. Because like high school can be really competitive, and like they're thinking like, oh, that person's taking 7 AP classes, I have 2 too, or like when I'm working in high school, people always say like, oh, I got 3 hours of sleep. Oh, well, I got 2. It's like a competition of like who got the most amount of sleep. And it's like that's definitely not what's important. Like sometimes like I would like skip an essay to like get an extra hour of sleep, and then I would feel dead the next day. And that's really important. Just like take care of yourself. It's not always like academics over everything. Like your health and like you is always more important than your grades.
And your teachers would agree.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. One of the big things that I would stress: if you are feeling overwhelmed, vocalize that to your teachers. I cannot stress that enough. I know, well, me as a person, I know AP kids too. We got it. I don't need any help. I got it all the time. I can do this. Because we are highly competitive. We are perfectionists, and you don't want to have to ask for help because you don't want to look weak. You don't want to look like you can't do it. But
you know, you took 5 AP classes and it's the middle of the semester and now it's catching up with you, let your professor know, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Whether that means you have to come in extra with that professor, because I'm sure they'd be more than willing to help you out. I cannot even tell you how many times Ms. Nicholson stayed after school or before school to help me out with something. But do not be afraid to seek help from other people. Don't feel like that's something that you have to handle all on your own, because, you know, like I said, you are one person. So if that, you know, if you're not feeling motivated and, you know, you're trying to get back on track, if that takes you having to reach out to a friend like, hey, can you sit down and can we go over our notes together, because I feel like I'm not getting as much out of this as I should, or you know, having to ask a teacher, you know, would you mind staying after with me? Can you give me anything extra to help me, you know, refocus my intention, do it. So definitely do not be afraid to seek help.
And kind of like jumping off of that, like I'm one of those people, I'm a true believer that there are no stupid questions. And I feel like the questions I've asked, and maybe, you know, some people would term them as stupid questions, they've gotten me to where I am now. Going up to the professor and asking that question got me, you know, staying after and doing really well in the class, and then coming out with an A, and then having all these opportunities afterwards. So don't be afraid to ask that question. Like they just said, I know AP students, we're all like that, perfectionists, want to compete, you know, kind of thing, but I mean, it is what you make at college, and you know, part of that is knowing when to ask questions, knowing that you can, and feeling okay about it. So definitely.
I think something that's important, I think my junior year, like for a half a semester of like my first year into like an AP class, AP language with Mr. Vander, I was having like a steady C that entire like first like 3/4 of like the semester, and that was my first AP class. It's gonna be something that you're gonna have to adjust to, and I think from all my AP classes, like AP language with him, and I that was like the class I've learned the most out of it. So don't think that like you're gonna get an A on everything, and like that shouldn't be your end goal. The end goal should be like what you want to take out of the class, which I think that class really like made me the writer I am today, and like the way I write. So I just want you guys to know that like, yeah, grades are important, but for me, like I look at it a bit differently than maybe other people would. Like I was having like a B, C average in that class for a while, and I think I ended up getting like a B, not an A or anything, and like that wasn't important to me at the time. It still kind of isn't important to me. That's just how I live my like education, like career. But I just think that I want you guys to know that, you know, you don't have to get an A on every paper, and if you guys are just like first getting into AP classes, like it's gonna be, you're gonna have a transition phase in anything you do in your life. So I think that's something to be aware of, that you're gonna learn from yourself, and the C you'll get on a paper, even like the D you'll get on the paper, like you will learn. And a lot, even taking AP classes, a lot of teachers will write like very like tedious notes on like this is what you should have done, and then maybe like go back and like rewrite the paper, even though you like might not regrade it for like, you know, think about what you